Yo, guys, if you're a victim of addictions, any addiction, it can be video games, fucking masturbation, fucking drugs, cigarettes, anything, any addiction, any vice. I've been reading this book called Reality Transurfing over and over again. And in this book, there's a chapter called Pendulums. Pendulums. And it's really interesting. It teaches you of a way to think about the world that really kills your vices. Because what pendulums are in the book, it's explained that everything in life is a pendulum. It can be a political party, a business, a person, a relationship. Anything is a pendulum. Think of a political party. This pendulum is the political party. The head of the pendulum is the political party. And when adherents, like the political party, send it love, send it good energy, it swings. And whether you send it energy from the good side or the bad side, whether you love it or you hate it, you give strength, you give momentum to the pendulum. And that's a crazy concept. Because transurfing doesn't dictate, but it describes that every pendulum has its own purpose. Every person has its own purpose. Every business has its own purpose. Every political party has its own purpose. So every time you benefit the pendulum by giving it energy, you're benefiting its own goal, which is for a political party popularity. Or just, having more people to know about the party. If a new party comes out of nowhere, you want people to know about it. So what happens when you give it positive energy, you give it love, you support the party, you tell your friends about the party, oh, it's great, blah, blah, blah. And what happens if you hate the party? You send it hate, you insult it, you tell everyone you know about how bad this party is, about how horrible this party is. And what you're doing by doing that, by spreading hate about it, is you're giving people who were not aware of the party information on the party. And whether they like it or not, they might hate it because you're describing it in a very bad way. But because you've shared your knowledge to them, now they can share it to someone else that might like the party. So every time you give it negative or positive energy, you're benefiting the pendulum. Isn't that crazy? Can be a relationship too. Now imagine this is a relationship. If you love your partner too much, you give too much for them, you buy them flowers too often, chocolate too often, you do everything for them, you cook them breakfast, lunch, dinner. If you give too much love, it comes back striking. There's this concept in pendulums called the excess potential. If you give too much, it comes back striking. It comes back striking in a negative way. If you give too much positive energy, a strike of negative energy will come back the other way. So if you give too much positive energy, it's going to start going the other way. If you give too much love, you will get hated. And you will, by the way, hate yourself. Think about it. If you try too hard with someone and they don't reply to your messages after some time because they get bored. And when they don't reply, if you love them very much, it hurts. And you start thinking, bro, why the fuck are you not replying to me? And you start getting angry. You start hating. Out of love, you start hating. It can be the other way around. you know how often people hate someone for the opposite sex for no reason and then end up liking them? Because when you hate, you keep this person in your mind. And you make sure that if you portray a very bad image of this person in your mind all the time, then when this person does anything, because your image was way too hateful, it's not realistic. And then when you see them do anything that's not as bad as you've imagined, you think, oh, actually, this person's not too bad. And because you see them as not as bad as you thought, you start developing feelings for them because they've been living rent-free in your head. Whether you give too much love or too much hate, you're benefiting the relationship, the pendulum of the relationship. But you have to think, every time you interact with the pendulum, it can be healthy to do so, as long as you don't give excess potential. If you hate too much, it's going to strike back very hard. If you love too much, it's going to strike back very hard. And the only way to not benefit the pendulum, if you want to stop being in contact with someone, you want to quit the relationship but not have ongoing mindfuck forever, you just have to leave the pendulum alone. If you stop giving energy to the pendulum, it eventually stops. It's because you give it positive or negative energy that it keeps going. If your relationship is very toxic and you're trying to end it, but she comes back and then you come back and then she leaves and then you leave and then she comes back, this kind of bullshit, it's because every time it's slowing down, you or the other person gives it a little nudge. From maybe the love side, maybe the hate side, it doesn't matter. You're keeping the pendulum alive. If you want the pendulum to stop completely, you have to stop interacting with it completely. You have to ignore it completely. Because when energy will come from only one side, it's not sustainable. I mean, if from your perspective, if you've left the pendulum, you won't have any perspective on the pendulum. You won't feel the pendulum moving. It won't be a part of your life anymore. So the other person will be swinging the pendulum alone and will not have any reasons to keep doing so, and will get exhausted at some point, because when you give energy to a pendulum, you lose your energy. You give your energy to the pendulum. So if the pendulum is pointless, it comes a point where you just realize that you're wasting your energy. So both sides then stop interacting with the pendulum. If it's a political party, you're giving it strength by hating it or loving it. But if you don't give a fuck about it, it's not going to have any impact on your life. A great example of pendulums is Andrew Tate. Except his pendulum is never stopping, it seems. Because he used to be a nobody, like 8 years ago, when he started posting videos. Nobody gave a shit about him. And then his pendulum kept getting traction and more love and more hate. He has a lot of lovers and a lot of haters, which is great for him, because the lovers boost his momentum, and the haters speak so loud about him. And what it creates when the haters hate Andrew Tate is that the lovers of Andrew Tate start arguing with that person, and it's always online, right? The haters, they speak online. So when the lovers argue with the haters online, they create a lot of engagement, a lot of views, a lot of comment, shares, interactions. So by hating and loving, Andrew Tate got extremely famous, and his his pendulum kept accelerating. And I'd argue that his pendulum is actually fucking spinning. It's not stopping, it's fucking spinning. And you can realize that his life was going way too easily, right? A couple of years ago, before he went to jail, his life was too easy. He was making millions, had a big fan base, and he said himself, he mentioned it in many videos when talking to Tristan, saying that life is too good. It can't be so easy. And that's exactly when he was sent to jail. The pendulum of his success was so strong. Let's say there was way too much excess potential on the positive, that he was sent to fucking jail. The other way around. And he was sent to jail. By the way, when he was in the jail cell, he didn't know why he was in there. He didn't know why, and he didn't know for how long he would be in there. Imagine if you fucking viewer, you were thrown in jail, not knowing why, and not knowing for how long. Imagine you've been in there for 3 weeks, and you have no clue if you're going to stay another 2 days or another 20 years. You don't fucking know. Jesus. So that's the Andrew Tate pendulum. Andrew Tate has been a great master of this concept. I don't know if he knows about the pendulum concept or if he just happened to be a pendulum's favorite. But you can create your own pendulum. Any business is a pendulum. And you have to keep in mind that every pendulum has its specific goal. A political party wants popularity and adherence. A love pendulum wants the relationship to work out. Andrew Tate's pendulum wants him to have more and more adherence so that he can get them to buy his course. That's what he ultimately does. He sells a course. His university.com. What else is there as a pendulum? Yourself. Any negative feeling you have in your life, any excess potential that you might put, if you're trying too hard to make money, that's what happens. You don't make money because you're putting excess potential in the wealth pendulum of your life. And if you don't care about wealth at all, you make no money either. It goes both ways. If you have excess potential in the positive or excess potential in the fact that you're not trying at all, you need, in the Transurfing book, it says that you need to have a goal, to visualize your goal. It's about visualization and manifestation, this kind of bullshit that you hate. But it's real. So, it's about visualizing your objective in life and taking real steps towards it every day. There might be big steps, small steps. As long as you take the steps, your goal will be manifested. But if you give excess potential in one way or the other, you will be punished. Because that's how the energy flows. Anytime something goes way too much on one side or the other, you're wasting your energy. Your life energy is being wasted somewhere. So, if you're in a relationship, it's going bad. You're wasting your energy for something that the other person probably doesn't want. So if the other person leaves the pendulum, you're left alone wasting your energy trying hard on an empty pendulum. I've been doing this myself in my life. I've been chasing girls, trying too much, offering them flowers when they didn't ask, didn't show any sign that they actually cared. And I've kept going, and that's why I've been depressed for a very long time. Until I was 21, I was depressed. I had chronic depression. I've been friend zoned every year of my life until 18. Had my first relationship then for 3 months. And then friend-zoned again. Until 21, 22, where I stopped chasing relationships. I was, my whole childhood, I was trying to be in a relationship, to find love. I was trying so hard to find love. And because I was trying, I was putting excess potential my whole life. And it's only when I stopped caring completely that I started to meet people that matter a lot to me. And that I think will stay long term in my life. Maybe they'll be romantic partners, maybe not, but I'm meeting people that I care about a lot, and that matters more than trying to get your dick wet. So yeah, that's pendulums. A very interesting concept. I invite you to look at all your issues in life. If you're addicted to video games, video games are a pendulum from the video games company that needs people like you to give your energy, your time, and your money. Your money because you're buying the video game, and your time because you're making the video game popular by playing it hours and hours and hours. Popularity and you're creating relationships with other players, which gives a sense of community in the game and gives power to the pendulum. Because now there's a social thing around the video game and more people get attracted towards it. It's a pendulum. That's the video game pendulum. Now, how about the tobacco pendulum? Now think about the tobacco industry. They're trying to take your energy, to take your money, to sell you tobacco. They know that it's unhealthy. They know that it kills a lot of people. But they're making money from it and you keep buying it. And you know it's unhealthy. So you keep buying it. You keep buying it because you're addicted. And as long as you keep buying, the pendulum will not die. And also you can see it as being surrounded by friends. Tobacco, if you're surrounded by a group of 5 friends that all smoke, if you remain in this environment of smokers, you will not stop the pendulum. Just by being around other smokers, you give the pendulum energy. Because now you're part of this culture of smokers. Just think about it. If you left the group of smokers, if you were the only person you know that smokes, would you keep smoking? Probably not. Probably for a couple times, if you're depressed and you need to, let it out, you would maybe smoke. But if you were alone, being the only person that smokes in all the people you know, you'd realize that you have no fucking reason to smoke. And you're wasting your life energy and your health towards this pendulum that does not benefit you. Smoking does not benefit you in any way. It only benefits the pendulum. So, you need to stop. When you have to recognize those patterns in your life, that to recognize the pendulums that you're giving your energy to for something that gives you nothing back. Of course, it's going to give you a short-term release of dopamine. That's what they all do, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't do it. If there was nothing, you wouldn't do it. But all those vices, they give you a short-term release of dopamine. So it feels good. That's what the whole thing that it does. It feels good. But it doesn't bring you anything valuable for your life. It's only detrimental. By the way, your body also is a pendulum. So if every time you give it a big hit of dopamine, you give it excess potential of dopamine. That's very important. If you need to see it from your body too, the pendulum of your body. If you give it too much positive feeling, too much dopamine, you will be struck back by depression, by feeling sad, by not being fulfilled. You need to step back from this pendulum, stop trying to chase a good feeling or a bad feeling. I mean, nobody's chasing a bad feeling, but every time you're chasing a good feeling, you're creating excess potential that will hit you back. So, you need to stop giving your energy, your hard-earned, expensive life energy, to pendulums that do not want to benefit you. They only want to benefit themselves. And in the book, it says that even charities are pendulums that do not benefit you. They have a purpose that they're trying to fill, right? They're maybe giving money to help dogs, help anything. But in the book, it puts a big emphasis on the fact that whatever the charity is, whatever good purpose it can help, it still needs your energy to give it to the pendulum, and does not care about your feeling. The pendulum only swings to gain more energy. It doesn't give a fuck about anyone that's giving energy, about your situation. Any charity does not care about your situation. How many times have you seen people in the street telling you, oh, I work for this charity, would you like to hear about the charity? And you say no. And they're like, but you have to hear it because are you actually poor? You don't have money? You don't want to help poor children? And they really push you to get in this charity, to give money to the charity, without giving a fuck about you. Never ever in my life have I seen one of those guys. And I live in Paris. They're very often out in the street like this. I've never once in my life have them ask, are you in a position to give? Like, they always come to you like, you need to listen to me, you need to give. And never like, would you, like, do you have extra money you'd be able to give? Or is it like not a good time for you? Like, never. They don't care. They just want your energy to keep the pendulum going. So that's it. That's the pendulum lesson I've learned, and I keep listening to over and over again on this audiobook. And I really love it. It changed my life. Like, from the moment I've seen this theory, I've not been able to get angry anymore. Because you understand that when you get angry, you give excess potential. When you're too happy, and I feel it too, when I'm too happy, I calm down and I think, why am I feeling so good? Because I'm excited, alright? Should I calm down? Because when you're excited, you act in a non-rational way. And it often leads to being disappointed, doesn't it? Think about it. Whether you're too happy or too sad, you need to be careful. You need to take a step back and think, am I too excited? Am I too sad? Because you're building excess potential. And it's going to strike back. Anything you do, now you can analyze and think, am I building excess potential? Is this necessary? Or should you just let life create the flow for you and you don't? Of course, you can impact life. I'm not telling you to just be a peon of the world and let life happen to you. That's not what I'm saying. You still need to take the steps every day towards your goals. But you need to think, are you stuck in a pendulum that does not benefit you? You can be too excited about the crypto market and then it fucks you over. You can be too excited about some business deal you've had or so, or a promotion at work, and then you get a big fucking strike back that you would never have expected. So, be careful. Look at your life like this. Are you stuck in a pendulum? Is the pendulum in any way trying to benefit you? Or is it truthfully only trying to draw energy away from you for the pendulum? That was me, Elias Bondon. I'd suggest you press follow because I'm gonna yap a whole lot like this. I'm a lot into fitness, the carnivore diet, well-being, mental health. And if this video was interesting to you, you should stay around. If you're interested in getting fit, come check out my Instagram. I work out every single day. No rest days. You could say I'm stuck in the workout pendulum. But it's a pendulum that's benefiting me. So that's fine. You can create your own pendulum. As long as it's benefiting you, it's good. So, you should ask me. You should tell me in the comments if you have anything that you wouldn't have thought about, a pendulum that you're living in right now. And you think, wait, I'm being abused so much right now? My whole energy is getting drained away from me, and I never realized. Tell me in the comments your stories. I've had many girl stories, It's crazy, the pendulum thing. When you have it in your head, you look around, you see pendulums everywhere. It's crazy. I really hope you implement this into your life. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.